Commander. I warrant you've pleased your Duke. He requested you lead this mission personally. Our spies have just returned from Tuono Basin, where they observed an Ordust outpost. The Ordusts say they're harvesting spice. We see more trikes than harvesters. We can ill afford to fight two houses at once, so don't initiate combat. Just harvest your quota quickly. If they dare attack, bury their base in the sand.
Hello and welcome to Dune 2000, and this will be House Atreides Mission 3. As we were told in the briefing, we have to harvest some spice, 5,000 credits worth of spice, and if the orders in the area decide to attack, to go and flatten their base. A quick overview of the new units and the wall which is available for this mission. I think most people don't bother building walls, but they are an option. As per usual, we start the mission with a handful of units and then have to start setting up the base. Now, I will say up front that I got a bit carried away in this mission. The mission objective is to gather 5,000 credits worth of spice, and if you do that, the mission doesn't take very long to do. But of course, I got excited by the idea of punishing orders if they were silly enough to attack, and of course, they are silly enough to attack. So I probably spend quite a bit of time and resources building up forces in order to maul the order space in this mission, which I didn't necessarily have to do. But it's been recorded, so I may as well make use of the footage.
Orders confirmed. Yes, Commander. Construction complete. Let's go.
The usual scouting around for spice so that the harvesters can find it easier.
Orders confirmed.
Or can find it in the first place. Don't worry, I will be building an awful lot of concrete slabs. I must have a concrete addiction, I don't know. But you can only build so much before you start building other buildings, which of course will be the usual order of wind trap and then refinery.
Orders confirmed. Yes, Commander. Yes, Commander.
I should mention I had failed this mission at this point. Once because I took too long trying to set up a functioning base and just didn't have enough units to actually defend, which was a bit silly.
Let's go.
So just the usual scouting around, and
Let's go.
well, we fired the first shot, but they attacked first. I have determined that, so now I can go and punish them.
Yes, Commander.
When I've built up some
Orders confirmed.
units, of course, just scouting around, trying to,
Let's go.
I shouldn't say trying to identify where the base is, because I technically already know, but getting rid of some of the fog of war to
Let's go.
give more vision of the map.
Construction complete.
Refinery down.
New construction options.
And expand the concrete foundation
Construction
in order to
complete.
further build structures.
Orders, sir. For the Duke. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete.
Ideally, you could set up 2 refineries or 3 if you wanted to, and just build enough defensive units to protect your base, be done with it. But as I was saying, I decided to teach orders a lesson.
Construction complete. Building.
Orders units are slightly weaker, but slightly faster than Atreides units, which of course again are slightly weaker, but slightly faster than Harkonnen units. So you can imagine the balance between Harkonnen and orders is
Construction complete.
further in the favor of Harkonnen, which will become evident once we get into the orders campaign, but we are nowhere there. We are nowhere near there yet. So
Construction complete. Unit lost.
Ready, Commander.
troopers, by the way, they are equipped with wire-guided rockets, and they are very, very effective against vehicles and buildings, but they are virtually useless against infantry. Even later on in the game, it is still advisable to keep building a certain amount of machine gun equipped infantry just to deal with the troopers, because a handful of troopers, if neglected, can easily cause severe damage to your base and or units. Worm sign right outside the base, which is always lovely. Just basically waiting for the second refinery to build, which of course takes quite a bit of resources and quite a bit of time. You could technically do it with one harvester, but once you start aggressively producing units, definitely having 2 refineries is
Building.
not a bad idea. But of course, because they drain a certain amount of power and you need to build the other buildings as well, you need to make sure to stay on top of your wind traps, because not only do you lose power to
Construction complete.
the outpost, which of course is your radar, but when you are low on power, you also find that the construction yard takes longer to build stuff, which is another thing that is very, very common from Command & Conquer, and was also something that was present in the original Dune 2.
Construction complete.
Building a barracks,
New construction options.
and as you can probably see, we have an upgrade menu available now,
Building.
and that is because of the progression in the game. We can now upgrade our unit producing even structures in order to produce stronger units. Of course, that costs money, and sometimes you have to balance about getting units out
Unit
quickly or
ready.
spending the necessary cost on upgrading.
Unit ready. Construction complete.
For the purpose of this mission, I find the vehicles to be slightly more important than the troopers,
New construction options.
so you will find that I upgrade the vehicle, light vehicle
Construction
factory
complete.
before upgrading the
Building.
barracks.
Construction complete.
Quads are better than trikes in almost every aspect, but it
Upgrading.
doesn't take much
Construction
to be better than
complete.
trikes. Trikes are basically 3-wheeled.
Building. Unit
Um,
lost.
I wouldn't call them vehicles, I will almost call them motorcycles with a machine gun. And they are
Building.
very, very useful against infantry, but outside of that, their usefulness is quite
Construction
limited.
New
But it is
construction
early game,
options.
you can't expect to get
Upgrading.
high-tech units
Building.
at this stage.
Building.
But defending against the sporadic attacks from mortars, and then
Construction complete.
expanding the foundation for the base and using units.
New construction options.
And that is basically what's going to be happening for the majority
Construction complete.
of this video.
Building.
Perhaps not the most exciting, and I suppose the base building aspect
Construction
is not
complete.
necessarily the most
Building.
interesting to watch
Unit
as such,
ready.
but it is part of the game flow. Something that I found
Construction complete.
to be quite prevalent
Building.
in this game is
Training.
that I suppose they are trying to
Commander.
indicate that
Ready.
you are engaging
Unit
established
lost.
bases,
Training.
but
Unit ready.
considering the
Construction
fact that you
complete.
have to start each mission
Commander.
Unit
with
ready.
nothing and build up a base of some sort. The amount of
Building.
units you tend to face compared to the size of the base involved can be quite
Ready,
extreme.
Commander. For the Duke.
The structures present definitely does not necessarily have the capacity
Unit
to reduce
ready.
the amount of units that you can
Standing by.
find
Orders
on
confirmed.
a given map. I
Let's
suppose
go.
it's the structures are not fighting back, but the units
Construction
are.
complete.
So in that regard, it forces you to spend a bit more time setting up and of course defending. So I guess it's a game balancing thing, but it's just quite puzzling.
Building.
Maybe not so much in this mission, but there are definitely some missions where
Yes, sir.
the base
Atreides out.
size compared to the amount of units on screen
For the Duke.
just doesn't seem to be related.
Worm frying.
See, all the money I'm spending on units, I could just have stored
Unit
them.
ready.
I would probably have been done in about 5 minutes from now, but no. I want to go out and
Reinforcements have arrived.
teach the blasted autos a lesson.
Training.
Get reinforcements, which is usually an indication
Unit
of
ready.
Reporting.
an attack incoming, but it turned out not to be the case, but I still moved my
Standing by.
enforcement units over to the right hand side of the base just in case someone decided to align some units.
Building.
Ready, Commander. For the Duke.
Unit ready. Training.
A bit of scouting.
ready.
And here you can see
Building.
my missile troopers against the infantry guy. He likes to kill them and they are not doing much damage to him.
Unit lost.
Ready,
So
Commander.
in that regard, probably need about 3 missile troopers to defeat one infantry guy
Yes,
without
sir.
losing any of the missile troopers. So that is
Orders confirmed.
the balancing factor between them. I suppose if you have a missile trooper firing his weapon at a machine gun equipped infantryman and he misses, then it will take some time for him to reload. Well, the machine gun equipped infantryman even can just
Let's go.
hammer away with his machine gun, so I suppose it does make
Yes,
sense.
Building. Training.
So, sending out a small scouting unit,
Unit
while of course
ready.
keeping an eye on the harvesters when you hear weapon sign.
Training.
Orders confirmed. Let's go.
Unit ready.
Orders confirmed.
One thing
Training.
I should mention, by the way, is that this
Unit
game,
ready.
I'm recording this with an in-game resolution of 800 by 600.
Orders
I'm
confirmed.
recording full screen 1920 by 1080 and then rendering it down a bit.
Unit ready.
Let's go.
But the game was intended to be played in 640 by 480, and I was a bit concerned that it be looking somewhat
Unit
wonky,
ready.
because sometimes your recording software doesn't necessarily like the lower resolutions I found, but as far as I can gather, it seems to work perfectly fine. So from the next video onwards, I will go
Yes, Commander.
down to a resolution of 640 by 480, full screen of course,
Training.
Yes, Commander.
just because it gives a bit
Unit
more
ready.
detail. Obviously you
Let's go.
can't see as much as you can with a
Training.
higher resolution, but
Let's go.
Unit ready.
I would rather have the more detail in a
Building.
game like this.
Yes, Commander.
Because of the age of this game, if you were to
Orders confirmed.
set the in-game resolution to 1920 by 1080,
Yes, Commander.
you can virtually not see the units anymore. It is actually quite funny. I should probably showcase it, but I may do.
Let's go.
I don't know. Got
Let's
this.
go.
Scouting around,
Unit
getting
ready.
some area
Building.
mapped. That's actually one of the main reasons why I want to switch to the somewhat lower resolution, is to get more detail on the minimap, because
Yes,
even at
Commander.
800 by 600,
Yes,
it can
Commander.
be quite difficult to see
Orders confirmed.
individual details
Let's
on
go.
the minimap. So,
Yes, Commander. Orders confirmed.
bound to be
Unit
someone
ready.
nearby.
Let's go.
Building.
Keep building units.
Orders confirmed. Yes, Commander. Orders
Nothing
confirmed.
there. Oh, we're under attack. We better check.
Unit lost.
I still forgot about the guard option. If you set your units to guard, they will happily engage
Unit ready.
enemies. And if you don't set them to guard, they will just stand there getting
Building.
smacked about. This can be a bit annoying.
Unit lost.
But
Unit
in the
lost.
meantime, our 3 strikes on the northern side has been discovered and engaged.
Unit
And
lost.
even though 1-to-1 Atreides units are stronger
ready. Building.
than Orders units, with those odds against them, it didn't go too well. But we have prepared a force
Let's go.
Construction complete.
to go and poke the Orders a bit, just to make them aware of our
Ready.
presence.
Building. Building.
Let's go.
And then you get to enjoy some of the pathfinding. It's not as bad in this mission as
Yes, Commander.
it can be in later missions, but the pathfinding of the units
Standing
is
by.
not exactly spectacular by any means.
Building.
I know StarCraft has a reputation for having some of the worst pathfinding ever seen in an RTS, but and this game is right up there.
Orders confirmed. Let's go.
Unit
So
ready.
let's go in and see if we can piss the computer off. And there's one
Yes, Commander.
effective way of pissing the computer off, and that is by
Yes, Commander.
attacking its harvesters.
Yes, Commander.
It certainly sends all its space defenders out to say,
Let's go.
don't shoot our harvester,
Lost.
which is exactly what's happening here. I got a bit greedy, and far too late I decided to switch my attention to
Lost.
the defenders, but oh well,
Unit lost.
it was just a throwaway force anyway.
Unit lost.
So let's try again with a bit more firepower, and this time Mr. Harvester is not going to get away. Hopefully my vehicle surrounds the Harvester, so as you've probably seen in earlier videos, if you watch them, the Harvesters like nothing more than driving over infantry.
Yes, sir.
What a way to go, by the way. Those Harvesters probably got some quite unpleasant mechanical parts shifting through the sand, and yeah, you can use your imagination if you desire to do such a thing. Well, what
Building.
would happen to a soldier being entangled in that kind of machinery? I suppose the weight of the vehicle itself would probably also flatten rather
Unit ready.
effectively.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
engaging their base. The proper wording, I suppose, is I am in your base, shooting your shit. Which is exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying desperately to target one of the men running around and
Unit
having some
lost.
issues doing so.
Lost.
Losing ridiculous amounts of units compared to the fact that it's just 2 guys running around. But I suppose if we get rid of the barracks, then we won't have that
Unit
issue
lost.
anymore. So, blow up the bloody barracks.
Unit lost.
There you go.
Yes, sir. Atreides out.
At this point, I actually thought that if I blew up the base, I would complete the mission, but
Unit
blowing up the
lost.
base is entirely optional.
Atreides out.
So after blowing up these structures, I will cut out scouting around looking for other units or other buildings.
Unit lost.
While the
Unit
game slowly
ready.
but surely completes, or the mission slowly but surely completes itself by me reaching 5,000 credits.
Unit lost.
You see, when you, if you actually read the small print, you might get the information you need in order to succeed. That's quite a bit of a force to build up just in case, you know, but there, after this structure, there's no more orders units left on the map.
For the Duke.
So, skipping ahead a bit, and
Yes, sir.
Mission complete.
mission accomplished. Whee! High score. I am a hero. Maybe not.
The Atreides pushed east.
Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye bye for now.